Good day, folks.
Hi, Steve.
Hi, Scruff. Hi.
Max brought me the dog, one of the dogs.
In the right place, dog. All right, cool. Nice to see you. I just finished my tea. That was some bad planning there.
Hi, Gunnar.
Hi.
Where are you, Steve?
Hey, Gunnar.
Hey, nice to see you, Steve, and Sundar and Iskra.
Hi,
Yeah,
Gunnar.
nice.
Lovely to meet you.
Welcome. Good to meet you. And I'm in the UK.
Good. First time I take part in this. Kind of curious to see what's going on.
Cool. Well, if it goes by how we have fun every other time, then you should have some good fun.
This will be the
Oh,
best.
you have fun. Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Always.
We have serious personal growth.
Yeah.
It's actually,
You look very serious.
a big part of why I wanted to create these sessions as well is to take a little bit of that seriousness out of what transformation is about, and also just finding different tools. It's also a big thing, because obviously we have so many tools to work with. We're also aware of so many things, so it's also more of a thing to put into practice on a regular basis, various things that we know, and maybe sprinkle in some other aspects of how we may get into our subconscious mind and be able to change our minds in various ways. It's more of like a reminder. It's like an accountability thing in a way. if we do this on a regular basis, then we just keep it topped up. We keep it topped up because it's so easy to just leave these things behind and know about how we can change and then just get on with life and then just kind of forget to
tell me about it.
Yeah, so that was a big reason, because I realized that for me, as soon as I stopped doing stuff like this, I noticed my life gets a little bit more sort of choppy and a bit more difficult. But actually the consistency in using these tools, whether you get them perfect or not, it doesn't matter. It's the consistency in doing it that allows me to be like, oh, okay, well, my life just flows a little bit better now. So it's that, and also with us sharing as well, it's always nice to have these insights from each other, what how that experience was for each other, and we all share similar blocks and similar goals at times. So this is a big part of what this is about. And it's completely varied, because I'm obsessed with finding different modalities and things that work. So I like to just share what I find fun and what I find that works for myself, and then let's just see how it goes. And you do it in a group setting. So actually today there was something that I wanted to do, and it's inspired by something from Joe Dispenza. And Joe Dispenza in his book Becoming Supernatural did this really cool exercise. Now I'm not going to do it exactly the same way. We're going to maybe unravel it in the same way that he does, but we'll go through a slightly different process of how we're going to utilize this. And what we'll unravel today, you can also you can write it down. So maybe use your computer or notepad, whatever you've got. And with what you write down, you could also put that into practice and make it a daily practice over time, and use that to manifest, or whatever you want to call that. So how this will be is it's done in a way where, first of all, just start to think about what it is that what you've been trying to create. This could be trying to create for something, maybe it's been trying to create for some years. Maybe it's something you're trying to create right now. But you may have an idea of what that is that you're trying to do, whether it's personal business or, or creating a podcast or a new job or a relationship or whatever it might be. Just consider what it is. You can do this with anything, but we're just going to pick one thing for now. So just think about what that is. Maybe even just put it in the chat if you've got something in mind that you'd like to work with. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect. If you've got a few ideas in your mind, just pick one of them. Pick one of them that you feel that would benefit you most. So consider it in the categories. Is it social life? Is it relationship? Is it money? Is it job? Whatever it might be. So by having that initial starting point, what we're going to do is put that down so you're clear what it is, creating a structure around my offerings as it feels scattered. Okay, so let's do it in the way.
Steve, can you just tell what, just once more, please? I got lost. Sorry.
No, that's cool. It's so first of all, we've got 3 sections to this. The first part is to just first of all decide what it is that you want to create. So creating a structure around my offerings. So this is partly the first part, Iskra, but it's also partly the second part, because that's starting to get more specific in what you want to create around that. So it could be my business. So it could be that's what the main focus is.
Okay, so we start bigger, like picking up a domain, and then we go closer with the magnifying glass. Yeah.
So for example, with Joe Dispenza's son in the book, it was a job. He wanted a job. So what he did was just had a letter, which was J, just to represent that job. Mm-hmm. And we're going to partly do this. I'm not going to do it exactly the same way as he does. But so he used J as the job. It's just more of a focal point, you know, it's just like, just because that J then represents all the points that we're going to write down, so that we don't have to think about everything too much. We don't have to like constantly remind ourselves, what is it that I'm trying to create? We just actually put our energy into the J, because that's where all the intention of all the other aspects go. So just pick a paper, perhaps pick a letter or something that represents that. So it's your business.
No, it's actually clarity, a general clarity I want. Is this good enough, or it has to be more specific?
Well, that again may be the second part. So if it's clarity you want, that is also maybe the third part too, because the second part is about, you know, what more specifically do you want to create to make this thing happen? Like what aspects of this job are important to you? So his thing, for example, was something like, you know, I want to work from anywhere in the world. That was one thing. Then another part was, I want to earn twice as much money, if not more, than I'm already earning. Then it was you know, something where I have the freedom to go surfing whenever I wanted while I'm working in my job. So there's these different aspects that made up what that perfect job was. So
yeah. I'm just trying to translate it for myself, because I would like, it's easy to say I want to create a business, that's certainly, but then when I go deeper and I check, maybe I just want abundance and freedom, and it doesn't have to come from business. So that's why I'm saying that this general clarity that will help me see, do I want to continue to coaching, or do I want just to manifest abundance in a different way and do my arts? And so I'm not sure that if I say I want to create the business, that it's right, because maybe business is too narrow and it's more like something deeper that I need to figure out.
Yeah, well, consider then what things are there. So there is business, there is family life, there is personal life, and maybe just because you could do this exercise at any time. You can do it as many times as you want, with as many things as you want. So for now, just picking one of those things.
Okay, yeah, I'll pick business then, and it will be big.
Yeah, pick business for now, and you can repeat this process. It will make even more sense, because you even just said, yeah, B for business. You know, freedom. You said freedom, abundance. Right. So that actually comes into the third part of it, where we start to focus on what are the emotions, what are the elevated emotions that we would feel when we have that. So then freedom is the elevated emotion that we're going to focus on, because as you know, that's the fuel, right? That's the fuel to creating what we want, is to feel that way.
Yeah.
Before it's happened, so that we're giving out that broadcast for the universe to know what it is that you are creating. Picked business as well, summed up. Perfect. Great stuff. So Gunnar, do you know what it is that you want to do? Maybe it's business as well.
Don't really have much of a business idea, but do like the idea of, say, not being restricted by how much time I need to put in to work, and not being restricted by having to be in one place at all times, and also, well, not watching my bank account swell copiously every single hour, but at least make more than enough, and also provide enough value for others, so that I can have freedom and I can also uplift others. Not exactly sure how all of that will come together, but I can start with that.
Yeah, and again, we don't have to get this perfect, because this is like, you know, it's like the first step of anything. You know, it may be a little bit clunky here and there, but having this idea of how simple we can make a specific goal can be really helpful. So what you could do is just use time. Like, why not? Let's experiment. Use time. Use the letter T, because time is a big concept, and it takes up so much importance in every area of life, right? So you could use the letter T for time.
I think I'll use the letter E for energy, because that's usually what I feel I lack more than time, as being just scattered all over the place. Right. I know that both the biggest successes and the biggest failures in the world have exactly as much time as me. It's more a matter of making that time actually count and matter than having more of it.
Yeah, perfect. So that's great then. So let's begin. So you got E, you got B, you got B.
Yeah.
Now let me use B as well, just to see. E. So now we're going to just pick 3 or 4 things. 3 or 4 things that gets a bit more specific about what that is. Now you can use time. So if you know that by having lots of free time, you're obviously going to have lots of more energy. So you could put that in order to get the energy levels that you would like. What's one thing? And it could be something about time. Maybe it's a certain belief that you'd like to adopt around time. Business could be, or put your suggestions in the chat as well if you got ideas coming up. Business could be, I have 10 or more committed clients per month, something like that. You know, again, that's just rough. It's just a rough idea.
So this is the second level, right?
Where we've got the letter
more specific.
The letter's like level 1. That's fine. That's done. That's just like a little stamp. The second part, we're going to put about 3 or 4 different bullet points, which is, I always have enough time. So I always have enough time to have personal and work balance, something like that. That could be one example. There's so many beliefs you could have around time. There's always enough time. Time's always on my side. Things like this. So if you want to use time as an example for the purpose of the energy, then you could just say something like that. Like, what is the ideal belief you would like to have about time?
Steve, when we are writing these bullet points, can we use the words? It's like when we write affirmations and all, we generally use always, never, and these are very strong words, right? Is there a rule that we should use strong words, we should not use anything like that, or we can write whatever comes to mind related to that topic that we picked?
Just write whatever comes to mind first of all, and then you can share it, and we can have a look at that. But yeah, you're right though. It's general. Like it's going to be better to think more sort of positively in that sense. And there's always a way around it. There's always a way to word that. But the most important thing is also the emotions that we're going to tap into. That's also, so it's like the emotions amplify the intention, which are those 4 bullet points, which then turns that letter into the energy, the electromagnetic field of ourselves. That represents our electromagnetic field, and that's where we really start to create magic, because we are attracting that level of energy back to us and creating that. You know, so the heart field is obviously the biggest electromagnetic field that we have, and by amplifying that with the emotions, that's where we create things with so much more ease, and we cut the corners from this 3D reality where I have to walk over here and get a taxi here and a bus there and call this person, blah blah blah. We just go, the universe, you know, there's no time, there's no space, let's just make it happen now, and then watch the magic sort of happen. I did that with my job in Mind Valley as well. You know, I did this every day for months, and I got specific about what it was, and chose the emotions that I wanted. And I did it every day for months, and it all came to pass. And it's like, you know, I didn't have to go and do all of these actions all the time, because the universe would just drop things in my lap, and I would have to deal with them and navigate through them and be cool with them and clear my emotions or balance myself along the way, so I wouldn't get freaked out and not self-sabotage and just run away from it, you know, because there were some scary aspects to this. But it's like acknowledging when these things come up in life, so also then continue to do different tools and continue to do this to remind ourselves over and over. So again, you can keep it nice and simple. You don't have to go too detailed into it. Just get a few simple specifics about what that would be.
I have a question. Is this the following that I'm going to share on level 2 or already on level 3, to have ease and effortless maintenance or creation of this business.
Yeah.
Is this more here, or it goes to the how we feel about it?
Yeah, that would work. That would work.
Okay, ease and flow, let's say.
Yeah.
Okay.
And just think about, is there a more specific way? Again, it doesn't have to be perfect yet. You can refine this later, but ease and flow, would that mean I get referrals?
Mm-hmm.
I get regular referrals from my clients
Mm-hmm.
every week or something like that, or on a regular basis.
I see.
So
Yeah.
that's a representation of ease and flow, right? Is that you're not going out there trying to
Mhm.
advertise all the time. Actually, people are bringing the clients to you. So you could write it in that way, like I
Yeah.
get referrals, people bring my clients to me.
Or I'm a magnet for my ideal clients who find me and excited to work with me. Because
Yeah.
this also happens to me. I mean, I had a couple of clients who just dropped into my inbox and said, "Is crime ready to be coached?"
Yeah, so
okay.
that's another aspect, right? Is I work with people who are ready to be coached. That would be a good bullet point right there, right?
Okay.
So you've got that, and you've got all my clients come to me through referrals. That might be a good one. The other one's more like a statement of belief that we want to try and like implant into our subconscious, which is great, which is absolutely great. But for this purpose, it's probably not completely needed in that way, because we're not trying to convince ourselves here. We're using the emotions, we're using the whole process to make this happen. So there are a couple of really good examples, actually, those 2 bullet points.
Thank you.
I'll use them for myself, I think, because that's my biggest goal, is to have referrals. People who are committed, that's great.
Steve, I have 3 points here. Can you tell me whether they are okay or not?
Yep.
So it's like my teaching year, this will finish this February, and I'm planning from April to have students in a cohort, right? So that I can teach them at the same time in June. And I have never done this until now, but somewhere in my mind, I have a strong feeling that more than enough students will come, but there is this doubt: will they come? Will they not come? Because until last year, I was full of money blocks and everything. And when I was thinking, it's like students will come to me when it is the perfect time. That is the first thought that came to my mind. Then second one is I will attract money whenever I need it. And the third one is something like Iskra said, right? I will not be stressed and be in a flow. And the fourth one is it will be the source of new and rich relationships, like very deep relationships. And because that is what last year happened. So all my students this year, they came from my Mind Valley and Ever Coach friends. And all the referrals and everything. So the source is from Mind Valley or Ever Coach. And so are these 4 sentences okay, or
yeah, pretty much.
Are they not clear?
Yeah, you could probably make them ever so slightly clearer, but yeah, they're good. Deep, when you say that deep relationships, I would consider adding something like deep and empowering relationships, because you could have a deep relationship, but it could just be like, like we're going down deep and we're just talking about heavy, painful stuff. So deep's good, but yeah, just being a bit more specific about, what sort of relationship is that deep relationship. When you talk about money, having money coming in, again, you don't have to go crazy specific. You can do that later. Good specifics, good, of course. But this is again is like even Joe Dispenza's son, when he wrote, I want it's something like, I want as much money as my job now, if not more, or twice as much money as what I'm already earning. So you see that's not crazy specific, but that's enough to say this is what I want. So you could say have twice as much money as my job brings in now.
I'm adding one word to this statement. I get regular successful referrals from my clients, because they could be referrals that never end up creating clients. So successful.
Perfect. See, this is why it's nice to have the group and the sharing as well, is because that what you just shared, Iskra and Sundar, that we're all getting a little bit more clear on what this is all about, and finding those little gaps where, you know, it's lacking that little bit of specific information. So this is really great. I've actually just added that to mine. I mean, I'll probably refine mine later because I can only sort of like half and half focus on my list, if you like, but similar thing. So yeah, students come to your calls, same principle, Sundar. These students, you want them to be, well, do you want them to be committed, ready, fully present, all of this stuff, and have them show up regularly, or, you know, because we don't want to manifest they just show up once and then someone different shows up, so you have to restart the process every single time. So all those little details are important. Now, Anna, I just want to give a quick overview of this. We want to go into a bit of a process in a moment, so we're not going to go into too much detail. You can always watch the recording as well. But in a nutshell, and you can do this nice and fast too, is just pick one topic. Now, Iskra, Sundar, myself say pick business. Just pick one thing, because I know we could have lots of things. Pick one thing and choose it. The letter would be B, representing business. That is just one aspect. That's basically what you're going to focus on, is this B later on, because that represents everything we're going to put into that. So just consider if what that area of life is. Again, don't overthink it for now because of time, but just pick something and just go through this process. And then, as you saw, we're just picking 3 or 4 different bullet points about what makes that that business perfect for you, that you want to create soon in your life, or now in your life even. So Iskra, business, successful referrals from other clients and other people. People are committed and ready only.
Yeah.
And then maybe one more, again, 3 or 4.
I liked the enough time for personal life work balance. And is it also the place for here to say that I want to have fun and joy?
We'll do that next.
Okay. What about support in terms of team processes, etc.? Because this is something that I've been really putting too much efforts to create. So support.
So maybe having a team of dedicated collaborators or something like this.
Yes, team and partners. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Team.
So that's great. That's really cool. And again, you may later on or another day, you may have some extra tweaks that just amplify this. That's perfect. You just change the wording. But there's like 4 good points there, and I hope everyone else has got some similar points. Does anyone have any questions? Anna, I know you've just joined. So you see there's 4 points based on Iskra's business. You could use that right now if it resonates with you, because you can, it's all about doing this, you know, a few times. So you don't have to get it right straight away. And Gunnar, how was that?
Yes.
Does it make sense to you?
I think so. We'll just keep going with it and see what happens.
Yeah. Okay. So the energy.
Yeah.
Is that working with, again, that could be working with dedicated people that I can communicate well with.
Yes.
Effortless, because obviously that saves so much energy when you can communicate well with those people that you're going to be connecting with. That could be one aspect.
Very good aspect. Communicating with the right folks gives energy instead of taking it.
Yeah, perfect. And then time, great. Have time to do my time to look after myself, to be healthy, time, you know, so you can add that aspect of time. And if you've got anything else, great. If not, even 2 points is fine for now, just for this aspect. So let's move forward. I'm going to type in the four bullet points. I think they're typed correctly, just in case Anna, for example, wants to just copy and paste those for now, or just tweak them. These is based on business that we've just spoke about with Iskra, and kind of mixed with a little bit, or Sundar was talking about a bit what I was wanting to. So there's some aspects. Now think about elevated emotions. Now this is a really important part, because as we were saying, the elevated emotions is when it's proven scientifically that if you hook someone up with the heart monitor, for example, and then get into a meditation, you will get a certain sense of the result from that heart just by focusing on it. And then when you start to focus on gratitude, then you'll notice that that electromagnetic field will grow and your heart will become even more coherent. You focus on appreciation, same sort of thing. That's gonna amplify that. And when our electromagnetic field grows, that means we're affecting more things around us, and it's a lot more coherent. And the universe is like tuning into that radio station, or you're tuning into that radio station, where you get that clear signal. And when that happens, you collapse all space and time, really, because it's only an illusion that I have to go from over here to here, because everything's one, everything's made up of the same space. So you'll find people calling you out of the blue. You'll just find the right things fall in your lap. You'll walk down the street, there'll be the book that you need to read, all of that stuff. And that book will be slapping you in the face, because you will be connected to the energy of what you need to create. And the book is also resonant with that in your path. And I know it sounds all a bit crazy, and I'm sure we all understand this to some degree anyway, because that's why we're on this call together, because we enjoy this kind of subject. But the elevated emotions are super important, because that is what turns all the volume up. Sundar?
Steve, are these elevated emotions that we already feel, or we want to feel when these happen?
How would you feel when you have already made that happen? I like the word awe as well. Awe is a great word. It's like an emotional word kind of thing. It's like, when you're standing on the edge of a canyon or something that you've never seen before, and you're just like, wow, that pure awe. Think about, just get a sense of how wide that energy is when you're standing on the top of a mountain, or wherever you've been, where you've just been like, wow. That awe sensation is a good elevated emotion. You could have gratitude, you can have freedom, you can have enchantment. Pick 2 or 3. Bliss, perfect. Thankfulness, and I know that's pretty much the same as gratefulness, but something about the flavor when I say thankfulness, it makes me feel slightly different to gratitude. It's funny. It's the way it works for me. So I'm thankful that all of this stuff is there in my life, and it's like, wow, this is amazing. Appreciation. So get a few words. And again, you may have different words come up another day that you're just like, oh, that's a much better emotion that I want to tune into. Perfect. That's also cool. Does everyone have all of that? Let's see. Got emotional feeling these words now. Great. So we're already tuning into that. Yeah, me too. When I was just saying about awe, I could start to feel that growth in me, or all of a sudden my body just started to tingle and come alive, which was really nice. So first of all, we have a letter, represents whatever it is for you. In this example, we're going to say business. It's a B. I always struggled with this because I don't visualize stuff, but I still have to use my imagination in different ways. But if you can imagine like a bee that's lit up, that has a like an electric fence around it. That's how he teaches it as well. So it's almost like got a circle around it that's like buzzing like that. That may help you to focus on that bee. Then you have the 4 points of slightly getting more specific, and then a couple of elevated emotions. So awe, thankfulness, appreciation. For me, I've chosen. I may change them, but for now, I'm going to choose those. So if everyone is good to go, we'll do a little exercise and we'll just practice this. Electrified, that is amazing. I love that word. That's cool. Flow, presence, gratitude, expanding. Yeah, they're nice. They're nice. And again, it's down to you, right? You choose the words that make you light up. That particular word, electrified, made me light up. So I like that. And I use that too. Now we're going to do a process. Is everyone cool? Thumbs up if you're ready. Again, don't have to be perfect. You could even just have one of each of those and just get with the flow. So let's do this. We're going to do a bit of an exercise. I just want to keep a tab on the time here. So let me just do that. So just go with the flow. If you're ready, you can close your eyes in your own time. And how we're going to start this, first of all, is we're just going to tap on a few acupressure points on the body. And this is partly going to be for just waking up parts of the body and reminding ourselves and getting that sensation of touch. And then later on, we will possibly just stop doing that tapping and then just go into a different part. But for now, we'll just get the sense so the body starts to remember how it feels. So just tapping on the side of the hand, either hand. Just do that a few times and become aware of that sensation. Put all your focus on the side of the hand and feel, what does that feel like? Perhaps tap the other hand, just to create a little bit more balance. So tap. And then as you leave tapping the hands, set the intention that it will just continue automatically. As if there's an invisible force now continuing on tapping. There's a rhythmical balance, rhythmical bounce to the sides of the hands. Now go to the center of the eyes where the eyebrows come to the center. Tap a few times there just to get a sense of how that feels. Almost just to activate it. When you sense a certain level of activation, then you can move to the sides of the eye. It's like the bony ridge on the sides of the eye. So not quite as far back as the temples, but just on the bony part. Just do that long enough so it feels kind of active. And then have a quick reminder, just focus on this in the sides of the hands, just quickly focus there, and then imagine it connecting to the eyebrows. Then imagine that in center of the eyebrows, then spreading out, connecting to the sides of the eye, creating a circuit board. Now tap a few under the eyes on the cheekbones. And connecting that. And then imagine a couple of lines going from the cheekbones down to below the nose, tapping there. It's almost like drawing a map. And then go below the bottom lip on the chin. You may notice a little sprinkling of space flowing through the body. Drop down a little bit to the collarbones. And in your mind's eye, to the best of your ability, just imagine the sides of the hands, drawing a line up to the center of the eyes, drawing a line to the sides of the eyes, all connected. Sides of the eyes drawing down to the cheekbones, and then like a V shape, cheekbones down to under the nose, drawing down past the chin, down through the neck to the collarbone, spreading out from the collarbone to the sides of the body, which will be under the armpits. And then like a triangle up to the top of the head. Now take a breath and just relax your hands on your lap. Take a nice conscious breath into the sides of the hands. Imagining, like again, a triangle up to the center of the eyes. Me feeling maybe the motion of it moving, following the lines, the horizontal and the pointed lines up, and just follow it round clockwise, anti-clockwise, whatever feels right, just to create some movement. Imagine it just darting around back and forth all over the place. Center of the eyes to the sides of the eyes, sides of the eyes to the cheekbones, cheekbones below the nose, and then drawing a line down to the collarbone, the heart space, all switching on like Christmas tree lights, spreading to the sides of the body. And then up to a point to the top of the head. Stay present with that for a moment. Notice the emptiness around the body. And just allow that letter to be in your awareness. You may visualize it. If you don't visually see it, just imagine it's there. Then imagine that letter has like an electric field around it that's moving, that's sparking, that's dynamic. And then you remind yourself of those points, the intentions. Go through them one by one, just to bring it into the awareness once again. Now take a nice gentle breath and tune in to those elevated emotions. Feel it with all your might in the heart space. And if you can visualize, just visualize all of that, all of those 4 points before happening right now. And enhance it with the elevated emotions that you'd feel as it's happening. Tune into those elevated emotions. Imagine living all of those points that you wrote before, the intentions. And have it all fuel that letter. You can treat it like a game, where the more you feel those elevated emotions, the more that letter shines and expands and grows. Feel the sides of the hands, creating like a triangle pointing to the top of the head. And any of the limitations that come up will just get zapped by that energy. And then tune into the elevated emotions again. Notice your letter with the electromagnetic field around it. Fuel it, notice it, make it stay alive, expanding. Remember these emotions. Practice them. Remember this sensation, this vibration. And be aware of all those times where you are out in the world and you may recognize some of these sensations. You may use them as a guidance of where to go, who to speak to. And remember to come back and do this exercise on this subject as many times as need be, perhaps every day, for some time. And then take a few breaths, and over the next few moments, allow your eyes to just open in their own time. And finding yourself again in this room where we can hear a few people's shares, experiences, successes, resistances, difficulties, wins, ahas, whatever it might be. I'd love to hear from you all. It'd be great, or anyone that wants to share, of course.
Well, because probably I'm short because I missed the first part. I'm very sorry I couldn't be there. But like when you started, like this is the sign that pop up for me. It was like an eye and it was written elevate and like I just draw it so fastly. And yeah, I think it's some opening of some eye of some elevation for all of us. Very beautiful. And I wrote the sentences. I will go through that and I will follow the first part of the video. So thank you so much. Beautiful experience.
Lovely. Thank you, Anna. Please take a photo of that picture and just put it in the transformation toolkit. It's nice. It's cool. I like it. It's always nice when they come up during these calls as well, these drawings. So every now and again, these random cool drawings. I love it. Iskra, I believe. Or Gunnar, you're unmuted.
Yeah. Well, thank you. It was quite interesting. I did feel a few things, but I'm going to be really brutally honest. My ego just kept on yelling at me and dragging me into a maelstrom of worries about all kinds of things, both big political things, personal troubles, or just, well, it really just kept pulling me in all directions to make sure I would be anywhere but inside this focus. I did feel a few things about like some kind of crystallized energy and kind of vision about being empowered, joyful, and focused, and not just right mess all over the place with no energy to do anything. I did see that, but then again, it was just it's imagine you're trying to watch a movie, but you have a screaming baby in the room. It was a bit like that.
Yeah.
With my ego being the screaming baby.
Yeah, that's beautifully said. Thank you, Gunnar, for saying that as well, because that's going to be part of the process, right? There were times where I would just wake up and I would have that screaming baby in my head all the way through the entire process. And then the next day, I may do it again and I may have a real moment of focus. There may be times where it takes a little longer to get there, but we are making changes, right? That's the whole practice, is acknowledging that these are the limitations that are in the way, but by practice, those emotions will become more familiar. It'll become easier to tap into, and the crying baby will get quieter and quieter and quieter over time. And there'll be days where it's easy, there'll be days where it's hard, and it's like it's okay to have this like cycle like that. So just remind yourself it's perfect. What you experience is perfect. I would recommend just doing this again and finding, you know, like if there's other ways you want to approach this, then that's great. The most important thing is getting into that subconscious operating system, which is the theta brainwave state, those moments, which is why we spent a little bit of time. If we had a bit more time, we'd probably spend a little bit longer to get into an even deeper state there, but you can. That's why we were like doing a little bit of this to become more present, to drop out of that, because the ego's like has less power in that space, if to put it one way. But perfect example, Gunnar. And I'd just say practice. Those emotions will get more clear, and those limitations, to say it that way, will become more amplified as well in waking state. So we become more aware of them. Oh, I recognize that from when I was having the meditation, and then we're not unconscious of it anymore, but we're actually being conscious of it, which obviously makes it easier to change. But oh, I recognize you. Hey, you're not getting me today because, you know, I'm choosing something different. So it's a process of change. You know, it doesn't happen overnight. It's easy to think when we listen to a teacher that this one meditation is going to make the change in one go. Most people don't tell us that this could take any particular amount of time, you know, because it's all relative. We're all individuals, right? So it may happen to someone. Sometimes things happen, have an instant change. Sometimes people would take 6 months, maybe it takes a year. Who knows? There's no time on this. It's a process. So just practice. It's a good one though, this practice. And it really does make a difference over time, and it starts to become really easy, and that vision will become super clear.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that. I'm really glad you shared that. That's perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. No reason to try to pretend to be perfect or have everything under control.
Exactly.
The whole point is to grow, not to show off, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome. Thank you. And Iskra.
So business, B for business. This is my B. You see, if this is serious business, very unexpected for me. And it was very electrified experience, and it was like all these glitters and golden and pink energy, and it was a journey. Sometimes I saw children, I saw my son, I saw very funny cake, like chocolate cake being sculpted in the shape of a little bear. I have my birthday today, by the way, so maybe that's why. Cakes and stuff around. And there was a moment when I felt tension on my third eye. It was kind of opening, and or some I felt as if I was pulled somewhere. Then I saw a disco ball, like the globe earth, but in the shape of a disco ball, and spinning very quickly and spreading glitters all over the universe. And also my hand started doing some healing on my chakras at a certain moment, and they stopped at my heart place. They were doing their work. And then I felt tension and even pain in my throat and in my right ear. So I think maybe a blockage to express myself, throat chakra. But it was a very beautiful, very colorful journey. Like the energy was very expanded, and I found it hard to come back into my body. And I just had a thought that slipped. I lost all the thoughts right now and all the words, but it was very transformational and healing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. You have fascinating experiences. I love it. That's good. And again,
Yeah.
just keep practicing, because it just becomes, just becomes so familiar. It becomes more and more familiar. The more we do it, and obviously the more we just repeat that, then the mind just knows what it is exactly.
Yeah, the thing that I just came back was humility and humbleness. This is a word that came along everything else, like the electrified inflow in presence, gratitude, expansion, and humility, like very important thing. Thank you.
Thank you, Iskra. Sundar, if you want to share, of course.
Beautiful, wonderful. And yeah, I also got the word humbleness. So, and so my B, it was just a standard font, big one. And so, yes, I could feel that when I was doing the tapping actually. So Gunnar, just like you were there for the first 4 times, 5 times I did tapping with steel. It's like my mind was constantly asking me, why the heck are we doing this? What will you gain by this? Why are you wasting your time? And then 5th time, 6th time, 7th time, then it became used to it. And now tapping is almost like a part. And so so my focus came to center very fast, like within the first time of tapping itself. It was focused, and then as I was thinking about each of the bullet points, so my mind was like, yeah, it was sending me a signal, like you're so nearer to it. It's too little to dream. If you want to dream somewhat bigger. and 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 it is amazing. I felt wow, great. Because rationally, whenever I was thinking of it, my mind was like, you have never done it before. Do you think you can do it now? You don't know how to talk about money. You don't know this. You don't know that. And but all during the session, it's like I didn't recall even one negative situation. Like everything was like, this is too easy. It's just the next step. That's it. It will go. It will happen. And I was very happy. So so even without you saying go to these elevated emotions, I was already feeling gratitude. I was already feeling bliss, and so everything is very good. And then at last, yes, I need a screaming baby. Yes, that is what. Thank you. And again, this is the best session yet. Thank you, Steve. Wonderful.
Woohoo!
Great.
Yeah. Awesome. I'm gonna use that. Your goal's not big enough unless you have a screaming baby inside. Can't do this. Amazing. I love it. I love it. And just remember, let this be the starting point, where there'll be so many more learnings from this. There'll be more specifics. Sundar, you just realized, okay, I did that. I can get more specific and a bit more brave about what I'm looking at, and make my goal a bit bigger, a bit more hairy, a bit more screamy, and all of that. And it just gets easier. And then some things might become a little bit less relevant, and you might start to realize, actually, that's not what I want. I want something different. So you can always just delete one of your intentions of your bullet points, for example. So feel free to like change it. But yeah, but it does work. And just if you can find a way to practice this, every day, or something, it was such a wonderful thing. And I've done it for a few things, and I've manifested all of them every single time. It's the commitment to do it. So awesome, great fun.
Steve, can I share something?
Yes.
So it's like when I came to the session, and generally during these sessions you ask everyone, how are you feeling, what do you want, and all those things, right? And it's like, if you would have asked me, I would have told the same thing. It's like, I want to start something new in April, and I'm feeling a little bit of, and this time is pretty busy time for me. It's like I'm having 2 to 3 classes every day, and so I'm in a state of stress. So wow, and it's like you just read my mind, and this is exactly what I needed. Thank you everyone, and thank you Iskra for your vivid explanations. They're like your visualizations are. It's like watching an Avatar movie. and and thanks everyone.
Yeah.
Wow, this is the session I needed.
Yeah, thank you for that, Sundar. Yeah, and thank you for everyone for showing up, and the creativity, all of the insights shared. It's been wonderful. We all benefit from each other's experience as well, which is something I always love about these things. So yeah, great. Great to have you on joining the call, Gunnar. Like every session's different, so we may come back to this later on at some point, but we'll often do something different. And happy birthday, Iskra. So wishing you all the best. I got to shoot, and I'll send this recording over. So love you all. Have a great day.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you. You
everyone.
too. And
Lots
happy
of love.
birthday, Iskra.
Thank you. It was amazing. Thank you. It was magical.